Welcome to Scone Bake and Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. I am so excited today because I'm going to share a recipe with my favorite food, ice cream. Today, I'm going to show you how to make my creamsicle macaron ice cream sandwiches. These macarons have orange sherbet and vanilla ice cream in the middle. And just to boost the flavor, I add a little orange zest and vanilla to the macaron shells. These ice cream sandwiches are so delicious, they won't last long in your freezer. So let's bake. When making macarons, it's important that you measure your ingredients by weight rather than by volume. So it's important that you have a kitchen scale. So let's get started. So I have here 124 grams of almond flour and 150 grams of powdered sugar. Get it all in there. There we go. Because these are creamsicle macarons, I have 1 teaspoon of orange zest. That in there. And we're just going to whisk these dry ingredients together. Okay, now that our dry ingredients are whisked together, now we need to sift them through a sieve. Okay, we're just going to try and get as much of that orange zest as we can through that sieve. But you're still going to have some left over in your sieve, and that's okay. We're just going to put those aside. There's plenty of orange zest in the dry ingredients, and you can smell it already. When you're making this, you will smell that orange zest. It smells wonderful. We're going to set this aside. Okay, now it's time to get our meringue together. So I have here 100 grams of egg whites, and they're at room temperature. And when you measure your eggs, it takes about 3 eggs. And when you measure your eggs, and it doesn't quite come up to 100 grams, you can add a little bit of room temperature water to make that 100 grams. So I have here 100 grams of egg whites. I'm going to put this on high speed until it just gets frothy. Now that it's getting frothy, it's time to add 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. We're going to put our mixer on high speed until we start getting trails. Okay, now that I'm getting trails, it's time to add 66 grams of superfine sugar, also known as baker's sugar. So I'm going to add this in really slowly on high speed. Now that all the sugar has been added, we're going to put this on high speed until we get stiff peaks. Okay, right now we're at soft peaks, but I want to add a little vanilla flavor to our macaron shells. So I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract to our meringue now. And I use clear vanilla extract so that our meringue stays white. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Take this out. Let's get a little stir, pull it out. And that is a stiff peak. How you also know you have stiff peaks is you can turn this upside down and nothing will come out. So now we'll get all the meringue off of our whisk here. So now it's time to add our dry ingredients, the powdered sugar, almond flour, and orange zest. We're going to add this in 3 stages. There we go. So we're going to add 1/3 at a time. There we go. And we're going to fold this in. There goes the last of the dry ingredients. And we're going to keep on folding this until it all comes together. You just want to make sure you don't overfold or overmix it. And we also want to fold it in so that we do not deflate our meringue mixture. It's pretty much together, but it's not ready yet. So now I want to add a little bit of white food coloring to it just to bring up the white color. So I'm going to add 10 drops, and this is white food coloring gel. We're going to continue folding this until we get to what we call the hot lava stage. So that's what we're looking for, is it just flows off my spatula and I can make a figure 8 with it. Now you don't want to undermix it or overmix it. Now, because these are creamsicle macarons, we do need a little orange in there. I'm going to add 2 drops of orange food coloring gel. Again, you want to use gel and just not the liquid food coloring. And I'm just going to add 2 drops. And 1 drop on the other side. And all I want to do is I just want to swirl this in because I don't want to turn this orange. I just want a little bit of orange swirl to it. So all I'm going to do is just run my skewer here kind of through it a little bit. I have here a 16-inch piping bag with a number 1A tip in it. You can also use a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and cut a 1/2 inch hole in the corner. And before I put that batter in here, I want to make sure I crimp up the tip. Otherwise the batter will start flowing out the bottom. So I crimp up the tip, put in my cup here, and just want to fold the bag back a little bit because I do get a little messy. And now we're going to add our macaron mixture. Now I have here a baking sheet and I've lined it with my template. Now I just made my template on my computer. What I'm going to do to cut the ice cream is use this round cookie cutter. It's 2.5 inches in diameter. So what I did was I made my circles 2.25 inches in diameter. I want these just a little bit smaller than this because after I pipe them, the cookies will spread out just a little bit. So I did this on my computer. So they're 2.25 inch circles and they're about 1.5 inches apart. I'm going to put that on there and then lay my parchment paper on top. And that's my template to how large of macarons I'm going to be making. Take this out. As you can see, it already starts coming out. So what we're going to do is we're going to pipe out to the end of my circle and come up and give it a little twist. And we're going to get this last one done. Get it all down there. There we go. So we're done piping them. They have a nice little orange swirl to them. So the first thing I want to do is take out my template because I don't want to bake them with the template in there. So take out the template. So now we want to tap our baking pan on the counter. Give it about 3 whacks. Around, give it 3 more. And that has helped to get all the air bubbles out of your shells. The other thing you want to do is look around for air bubbles that didn't quite pop. You want to use a little toothpick just to get them popped and then kind of spread the macaron batter around. After we get all the air bubbles out, we're going to let these dry. It takes these macarons about an hour, hour 15 minutes to dry because they're a little bit larger. So we're going to let these dry for about an hour, hour 15 minutes. So while our macarons are drying, I'm going to start the ice cream portion of our recipe. What I have here is 1.5 quarts of, as you can see, orange sherbet vanilla ice cream. But I only want about half of this. And I have here a 10-inch by 8-inch pan, which I've lined with parchment paper, and I'm going to put the ice cream on here, and it's about a little over 1/2 inch thick, and that's how much ice cream I want, as high up as this lip is. So I'm just going to scoop ice cream on here, and I've let this ice cream soften for about 10 minutes. We're going to take piece of plastic wrap and put it over the top. And now I'm going to mush the ice cream down and get it into all the corners. And sometimes you think you may not have enough, so you might need to add a little bit more ice cream in there. So we're just going to mush this up, get all flattened down so it's nice and even. I'm bringing this ice cream up to room temperature. We want this ice cream really cold, so I'm going to put this in the freezer for 2 hours. Okay, it's been 1 hour, and you just want to make sure your macaron shells are dry to the touch. So you just want to touch them, make sure they're dry. This is an important step because this is what makes the little feet in our little macarons. So they are dry and they're ready to go in the oven. I preheated my oven to 320 degrees, and I'm going to bake these for about 17 to 20 minutes. These take a little bit longer to bake because they're a little bit larger. So we're going to bake these. Okay, it's been 20 minutes and our macarons are finished baking. And the first thing I want to do is remove the macaron shells from the baking sheet. So I just want to pull the parchment and the shells right off. Put the baking sheet off to the side. Now, how you know your macaron shells are finished baking is that you try to wiggle the top from the bottom. And if the top wiggles separate from the bottom, then they're not finished yet. But if it wiggles and it holds on and the whole parchment paper moves, then they are done. And you want to make sure you err on the side of being overbaked rather than underbaked. We're going to let these cool completely, and then it's time to get the ice cream in there. Okay, our cookies have cooled completely, and I have matched the shells up with each other. And here's our frozen ice cream. So now it's time to assemble and get our ice cream in there. So I take my 2.5-inch cookie cutter here, just gonna cut that out. And we have an offset spatula because sometimes, because it is so frozen, it's gonna need a little bit of help on that first one. So we'll put this on the shell. And sometimes you have to kind of give it a little nudge out of your cookie cutter and get it centered there. There we go. And then you're going to put the top on, but don't push them together because the ice cream is frozen and it'll smash your macaron. So there we have the first one here with the ice cream in the middle, the macaron. And I will tell you, while these macaron shells were baking, oh, they smelled so wonderful. You could smell the orange zest and the vanilla in them. So I'm going to keep on going because we do have to move quickly before our ice cream starts melting. So I'm going to get all of these filled with ice cream. Again, you don't really want to push down because the ice cream is still firm. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the freezer. I have my container here. Let's move this over. Don't worry, that ice cream is not going to go to waste. And put all these in my container here. We do need to freeze these. You should freeze these for at least 24 hours before you serve them. And when you do want to serve them, be sure to let them sit out for about 5 or 10 minutes so the ice cream does soften up a little bit. So I'm going to put these in the freezer. Put those in the freezer in just a minute there. I have a plate here. You know we have to try one before I let you guys go. So I have this one here, and the ice cream is starting to soften up on me. And so now it's time to try one. You can taste the orange sherbet, the vanilla ice cream. The macaron has a wonderful crunch on the outside, soft on the inside. Creamsicle macaron ice cream sandwiches are so delicious. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com, and there is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for future videos. I hope this inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching. Ice cream.